Hello everybody. We're going to give people a chance to jump on here. Hopefully you guys can come join us soon for a late night, early morning, mid-afternoon chat, depending on where you're calling from the world, or checking in from the world. I have a sidekick. Well, my sidekick just walked away. Where'd you go, friend? You okay? Oh, my sidekick's walking away. What you doing, bud? I have a little friend that's been hanging out. Stay out of the road. Oh my goodness, makes me nervous. Okay, out of the road, sir. He was with me. He disappeared. All right, let's get back to the moment of the hour. Welcome everybody. I hope you guys are all doing well from hopefully all around the world again. And we've been just really enjoying all the feedback and really appreciating all the feedback and the gratitude and the the support. Somewhere along the way I got yelled at for not wearing my seatbelt in one of the Instagram posts somewhere. Sorry. I was been working on equipment a lot of times, not a lot of times, sometimes, and sometimes forget to put my seatbelt back on in the back seat. But it really touches us, guys. I can't say enough how all your support means, how much all your support means. So we are here. It is something o'clock in the morning, about 2 o'clock in the morning here, I guess. Maybe that's not quite right. Yeah, it's getting close to 2 o'clock in the morning here. Which means it's really early in Tennessee, whoever's watching from Tennessee. Mister, it's quiet hour. What's going on? Come in. So everything's going really well. Our big girl is doing great. She's tired tonight. It's a long day to get here, but a good day. A few little minor hiccups, but that's just only from, we had a construction zone, road closure a little bit. And because it was one lane closed, one lane open in different directions, we ended up with a lot of traffic for about an hour. So it's kind of a slow haul to get out of that. And that put us to the rest area we wanted to get to a little bit late, which meant the restaurant had been was closed. So a little bit of late making sure people had some food. But the team is doing amazingly well. They're so strong. They're so devoted. So organized. Everyone's just understanding what it means to get up and go, and taking turns and looking after each other and grabbing food for each other, watching for safety. We had one stop that was a little bit chaotic with a lot of people around, but we're going to reorganize that a little bit too, and make sure the truck goes into a little bit different place. But yeah, overall great. Meeting a lot of nice folks along the road. For everyone that has joined us on the road, if you're new, welcome, and so excited to have you here. I know there's a lot of questions to be answered. I will try to get to a few of those soon. One of them is always, where are we? We are in Mato Grosso do Sul. I think we are in Campo Grande, but honestly, I don't know, because I know they were organizing things at the last minute, at the end of the day, not last minute, but towards the end of the day. And I slept for the last hour and a half before getting here. So knowing that I was likely going to have a long night, we were hoping that we were going to be able to fit in the fenced off area for her the night, but that's not going to work. It's a little too tight and definitely too low. So we're going to stay here. It's pretty quiet. It's actually very quiet, and there's a couple different cameras around in different areas, so she'll be good. I will be spending the night with her again, with a truck alongside, and yeah, there is one of the drivers in this truck as well. If he needs anything, or if I need anything, he's there. And of course, everyone else is in the hotel right there. So nice and safe and easy and comfortable. But yeah, so everything's going well. People want to know, when are we going to get home? We are getting close. Hello from Denmark. I know several of you have been asking, several of you have been letting us know where you're from. I'm not catching all the comments. We have a lot of people joining us. So Vancouver Island, Canada. Just had another one that I missed from the UK, Denmark. Kimi Su just said, seeing an elephant at a gas station would make me think I had something to drink. I actually love the expressions on the road when you see somebody on the side of the road and they do a double take and it's like, oh my God, there's an elephant inside. It's really quite charming. We stopped in a really tiny town, and there's a little local news journalist that came out with his phone and his microphone, and he did a recording, and they were so excited, just super supportive. Every time we stop, we tell them we have more trips coming in the near future, and they're so excited. They said, please come again, anything you need, if you want to let us know beforehand, if we need to do anything for you. So it's really, really charming and lovely. So let me get to some questions. Common question that just came up again, does she lay down? No, she can't lay down to sleep. Here's the dilemma. That if you make a crate wide enough for them to lay down, they can easily get themselves in a position that's very difficult to get up from. So ideally, you don't really want them laying down while doing this. Elephants can go years without laying down. It's not ideal, of course, but it does happen. We had an elephant that came to us in Tennessee, and she did not lay down for 5 years before coming to us. Not a single record of her laying down for 5 years before her arrival. Pelusa, many of you remember her in Argentina, tragically passed away after suffering long-term foot infections. She didn't lay down for years, in part because of her weak body, in part because of her feet. They can do this without a problem for several days, not an issue at all. Not an issue at all. So she'll be fine standing up. She's doing really, really, really well. She is tired. We're all a little tired. It's been a long journey so far, but a really good journey so far. Somebody said, I can't see the progress travel on map, so it's hard to see. When will she be home? Hopefully Friday morning is the plan. We don't know exactly what time. We have to switch trucks. This truck can likely get all the way in there. Some of the roads, some of the hills are a little bit rough, getting up to the sanctuary, So we're going to switch trucks. So this one's a little bit low. It makes it easier for highway transport. But for the last little road, we're going to go to a little bit higher truck, without the little landing gear, a little bit higher in the back end, and that's going to make it easier for the last trek. So the plan is that we will be switching vehicles tomorrow evening, and then we will be making the last trip home on Friday, is the current plan. Of course, we're on the road, things can change, but I think we're in really good shape to make that happen. So, let's see, what other questions do we have going on there? This is my 5th rescue with you all. It's always exciting, especially when they leave the crate at the sanctuary. Yes, we can't wait. Cannot wait. Yeah, super exciting. And thanks for joining us for 5 transports. I mean, that's just fabulous. I mean, you guys are family. You guys are what makes this possible. We've said it 1,000 times over. We'll say it 1,000 times over again, maybe 1,000,000. You guys are what makes this up. You're the ones that makes this happen. We have had a lot of compliments. I was talking actually to this little reporter. He said, it is so evident the level of care that you guys are providing. He said, I don't know you guys. I've never seen you before. I didn't know there's a sanctuary in Brazil. You drive up here, you do this, you see the level of care, and immediately you know that this is a devotion that is much greater than work. This is a devotion of passion. This is a devotion of care. This is a devotion of love. You guys are doing this because this is what feeds you. And he said it's apparent with everybody. He said everyone is so nice and kind and polite and courteous and answering all these questions at the same time as balancing taking care of your team and being a part of the community that each gas station brings, and providing her with a level of care that is grossly unexpected. So a lot of compliments, and that's kudos to the team. The team has been amazing. There's actually an article that just came out in, I think it's La Nación in Argentina. The reporter is actually with us, Isabel, and she talked about the coordination with the team and in that article, and it really is amazing for that coordination because everyone is just we're just doing our part, everyone's doing their part and taking turns and being there for her in different ways. I talked to one of the veterinarians, and he said normally she doesn't respond like she is right now to the veterinary team. It's normally like she is with the caregivers, but she's just so sweet and tender. That can be a little bit of insecurity, which she does have. We saw that before with her. And she just wants to, she doesn't want the food, she just wants her trunk in your hand. Trish and I were talking, we're waiting for her eyes to quiet. She does have big eyes, but a lot of times when we're seeing her, it's at the truck stop, it's at, after time on the road. When I'm watching on the camera, her eyes do settle a lot more. I do have a camera in our car, so it's not all the time, but her eyes are much more settled, but we're looking forward to that relaxing. Even when we were in, wherever we were in Buenos Aires with her, we were talking about her eyes, her expressions, her communication, and her right eye is a little bit more wide many times than her left eye. Her left eye is more subtle, her left eye is a little bit softer. Her right eye is a little bit more wide open. But this is all about learning her communication, learning who she is. We had a great talk with the team today. Just talk about what to expect of what's to come and the transformation of sanctuary and what can happen and how elephants come with different labels and you see them change. And Pupy's not coming with the labels. The most dramatic one is Sissy back in Tennessee, labeled as autistic, a killer, antisocial, and she was anything but all of those. She was a natural born leader, a guardian, a true matriarch, and really impressive with how she transformed, but it's just allowing them to be them. And even though we see Pupy for who she is in many ways, that space prevents her from being who she really is. The space she was in prevents her from being who she really was. So talking to the caregivers of don't be shocked to see change. Don't be shocked if she says, you know what, I want to be on my own. I don't want to come over to you, because this is about her expressing her new life. Welcome back to Late Night Live in the middle of Mato Grosso do Sul. I'm sorry, I just lost you guys. I'll give you guys all a minute to reconnect. My internet just dropped off and kicked me off, so it may happen again. It happened earlier today also, so we'll see how this goes. All right, so back to what we were talking about. Getting ready for her arrival and what's to come. There were quite a few questions that were popping up. I missed those. I'm sorry. I will try to get back to them in a minute. One of them, internet dropped out on me, so happens when we're in the middle of nowhere. We are near a city, but internet's still pretty unstable sometimes. So with that, let's get back. Somebody just said, I saw a cat underneath the trailer. Yes, there's a cat running around. There's a little dog here that lives at the hotel. He's been running around, and I'm sure there's going to be more, almost in all these stops. We have long stated we need to bring an extra vehicle just to pick up dogs along the way. Although I will say we haven't seen anybody in really bad shape this time. Last time we had several that we were trying to help out because they were in pretty bad shape, but haven't seen that. Everyone's been in pretty decent condition, and it's pretty typical here. I mean, if you try to get every dog off the street, you're going to have 10,000 dogs by the time we get home, because a lot of them are owned and cared for, but they're just allowed to run around. So we try to find the balance with some of that. But okay, with that, so there is a puppy, a dog and a cat running around. But let's see, back to questions. Sorry guys. Do you expect a reaction from Mara? It's possible. We were talking about it earlier today. Mara's not going to be able to see her. She's not going to be able to see Mara because the African habitat is up on top of the hill and the Asians are down in the valley. But it's quite possible, yeah. Somebody said, I said they won't be able to see her, and I said, but they will be able to hear her. Mara can be heard everywhere. So with certainty, she's going to hear Mara, and it'll be interesting to watch. We're going to be documenting. We are doing a research project on her adaptation. So we'll have a lot of video throughout the first 2 weeks. So we'll be able to see and be able to notate if we see a reaction from her. So it'll be fun to see how that happens. So yeah, that just answers that question. Will Poopy be able to see the Asian girls? Nope. She's down the hill. Eventually, when we do expand the female Asian habitat, it's going to get really close to the African habitat. It can come a long way up the hill. I mean, it'll come a long way up the hill. It'll be a walk for the girls, the Asian girls, to get there. But it's possible that they could see each other across the fence. We actually had that happen in Tennessee way long ago. The African elephant and Asian habitat were connected, and certainly they heard them all. But I remember the first time that we knowingly saw the Africans see the Asians at the fence. They turned and ran all the way back to the barn, 3 kilometers back to the barn. So yeah, it was entertaining reaction, but who knows? There's a lot of communication that we can't always recognize and always hear. But yeah, who knows? We'll see. Somebody said, "Is Poopy tired?" Yeah, she's tired. We all are. It's a long haul. That said, again, Trish said, "Don't tempt fate," but I will say she's doing remarkably well. Surprisingly well. So we're really, really thrilled with how she's doing. Eating the whole time, drinking the whole time. Those patterns haven't changed. Engaged, interactive, rumbly sometimes. She doesn't do a lot of vocalizations back. She did the first night at oh my God, I lost track of nights. She did the night at the border crossing, which I guess was last night. Wow, seems like a decade ago. And she did rumble several times during the night, and a couple of times during the day she did rumble. So it'll be fun to watch her vocalizations emerge and see how that goes. So yeah, she's tired, we all are, but she's doing really well through it. So she's going to have a long night here. We were talking to the federal police today, and one of them is a different crew than we normally use. Our normal crew isn't here, and he said, "Wow, you're going to drive late tonight." And I said, "Yeah, sometimes we go even later. Sometimes, we stopped a little after 1 o'clock here. But sometimes it's, 2 or 3 when we stop, and we get going at 7 in the morning again. And we did that just to make tomorrow a little bit easier. But if she wasn't settled at night, we wouldn't have spent the whole night where we did, the first 2 nights. We would have just kept on going and done shorter stops throughout. But because she's resting really well when we do stop for longer periods, it's allowing our team to rest a little bit more, allowing her to rest a little bit more, but all that gets dictated by her. And going back to a comment I made a little while ago, but the article in the La Nación in Argentina, she said it so clearly. She said the team has done a remarkable job with logistics. It's all organized, all prepared, all coordinated, all ready to go. But none of that matters once we're on the road because everything's dictated by her. The only logistics is it helps us adapt and to whatever it is that she needs. If she needs us to roll all night, we roll all night. If she allows us to stop, then we stop. If she needs to stop longer, we stop longer. But she's doing really well. So she is, she's letting us do longer nights, which is brilliant. I think it's nice for her. I think it's nice for the team. We did stop a little later than we wanted. As I mentioned, there was a little construction, so we got here about an hour or so later than we wanted to, or we had expected. But, we're not going to get going until probably 7:30 in the morning. So everyone will have a chance to get coffee in the morning, a nice breakfast, which didn't happen this morning. And we'll be able to nurture the team a little bit more so they continue to do well for this last stretch. So let's see what else is happening here. Does Mara know Pupy? Yes, Mara knows Pupy. Mara lived with Pupy for many, many years in Argentina. Mara was a solitary female Asian elephant and in Buenos Aires Zoo and Buenos Aires Eco Park, actually at that time zoo. They later transformed to Eco Park, and then they brought in 2 young African elephants, and Kookie and Pupy. They did really well together for some time. At some point, there was an interaction that did not go well, and I think it was actually Pupy ended up in the moat. And And after she was in the moat, they decided to keep the elephants separated. So Mara was separated from them. They still could touch each other and see each other. And for a long time, they weren't allowed to be outside at night. So for 4 hours a day, they were outside, and the remaining 20 hours they were inside, because the work crew was only there for 8 hours. And if you have half the time with Mara outside, half the time with the others outside, a very short amount of time outside, and the rest of the time enclosed, because they were not allowed outside at night. Sometime around when we first started talking to them, we encouraged them to leave them outside, and they had talked about it, but they were fearful of things going wrong, and they started to leave them outside at night, and they said it was a huge shift in everybody's behavior. So it was really, really positive, but they still were not able to be outside together. They were always separated because of that history. And with a moat, it's really dangerous. It's one of the bad things with a moat, because they can either slip and fall, or a little scuffle, or any number of things, and they go into the moat and they just can't get back out of it. So it can be really problematic. So yeah, they knew each other for years and years and years. The other elephant I mentioned was Kookie. The plan was to bring Kookie and Pupy to the sanctuary, and after a couple of year delay with the importation permits, okay. Sorry, I don't know if that dropped out or not. I just switched to cell phone, so I'm going to drop this out real quick. I dropped off Wi-Fi. I'm going to stop talking here soon. Let me know if you guys are still there. If somebody can just give me a yes or no. Okay. Lots of questions. Okay, looks like you're there. All right, sorry for that little hiccup. On cell phone connection now, it may get a little bit worse, but we will be dropping out soon. Somebody just said elephants in Brazil, the African Asian elephants will not be sharing the same areas. That is correct. Thank you for that answer. They do have separate habitats, and that is because they have vastly different styles of communication. Oftentimes you do have conflict between Asian and African elephants. They can do fine. It has happened in several occasions where they are best friends, but there's also been a lot of conflict with the mixed species over the years also. So to prevent that, and to allow them to speak their own language and be heard and understood, especially when they're coming from atypical social environments, it's hard enough to adapt to that and really understand the nuance of what it means to be a social individual, as you guys have understood with the history and progression with Guillermina from Mendoza. But then you're trying to do that and speak a different language, not only different verbal language, but also different social language, also different behavioral language and physical language of expressions, and the big head shakes of an African elephant and the ear flaps, and everything is vastly different between the two species this way. So to really honor those differences, honor the subtleties of communication, we do believe it's best to have them in separate facilities. Both have a lot of space. We are right now expanding the female African habitat. We have space for 3, and the team back there is rapidly putting up fence to be able to expand their habitat. So guys, I am going to have to go. I do need to get some sleep tonight. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Susan. So she just said, can you finish the story of Kookie? You dropped out. I am so sorry for that. Thank you for that reminder. My brain is tired. After a long delay, the worst of our fears came true, and that is that one of them died there, and Kookie passed away in the enclosure. It was actually less than 24 hours after we got the okay from Brazil, saying that they were going to emit the export permit and that it was all going to go through. She fell in her pond, which is empty, and her legs splayed outward, both front legs. And as they were trying to work to raise her, she did pass away. And just tragic. And it's actually, you see it in people's faces. You saw it in the zoo. when they saw her, and Pupy's in, they're so excited for her, and every now and then something, Kookie should have been there too. And we don't always know why these journeys lead the way they are. We don't always know why these things happen. We don't always know why Pupy wasn't ready the last time, and we did have to delay, another 6 weeks, approximately 6 or 8 weeks. But we do know that in this moment, in this time, Pupy's doing really, really well. They've seen a different side of her come out after Kookie passed away. She's a little bit more present. Pupy's a little bit stronger, a little more present. And they didn't see that side of her because Kookie was a little bit dominant, and Pupy was a little bit more submissive. So they're starting to see the stronger side of Pupy come out during this. So on that side, it's been beautiful, and listening to how people talk about her. But yeah, I think we all feel that. For years we've been saying, bringing Kookie and Pupy to Sanctuary. And one of the things that Keepers did is they asked if we could bring Kookie's tire. It was always with her. So they saved it, and we're bringing her tire to the Sanctuary, so at least we can have that for her. Yeah. And somebody said, don't be sad. You all know I'm a softie. I cry easily. But these trips are emotional. In the best of ways. In the most brilliant of ways. It's emotional. It's humbling. It's empowering. It is the resonance of the team, the resonance of what this means for this beautiful elephant to have the strength to do this and have the ability to adapt so quickly in this crate that she's never been in. She's never traveled before. She's been in the crate at her zoo, but she's never done this. And they just do so remarkably well. And to watch the team, watch her, to see the smiles on their faces, to see all the people that come together, and to know all the logistics and all the challenges and all the hurdles and the loss along the way, it's just special. It's just special. And you guys know, I've done this a lot. We've moved a lot of elephants. We've been down this journey many, many times. And it's just special. I don't have any other words right now in this moment. It's and maybe because there are no words for it. Give them a chance. Give them a chance to show you. Give them a chance to show you what they're capable of. Give the people around you a chance to help and support. Give our society a chance to come together. And look what's happening. She's brilliant. She's brilliant. Special time. So, while I do have tears and emotion in my voice, it's not just sadness. It is overwhelming emotion of what it means to be a part of this. And you guys too. Yeah. You guys too. Alright guys, I have to go. I need some rest. And yeah, when I say lots of love, you can't imagine the gratitude that we feel for everybody that is part of this. You guys are a huge part of it. You just can't imagine. You guys make this possible. Truly, truly. Huge gratitude, guys. Stay well. For those waking up, enjoy your coffee, tea. For those going to bed, rest well. Sweet dreams. We'll see you soon. Yeah, all the love in the world, all the gratitude in the world for helping bring this lovely girl home. Can't wait to share more. Take care. Ciao for now.